Well, I was just starting to understand what this match was all about, and I was really starting to enjoy myself when someone in the crowd told me that 30 miles down the road, the Salt River Long Rifles were holding their annual fall rendezvous. Now, I've always been a sucker for rendezvous, so I had to sneak off and hit the old Heritage Trail. When we return from commercial break, I'll meet you at rendezvous.
Vice President of Salt River Long Rifles. This is our rendezvous we have annually. We're a club that started up in 1991. So we've been in as a club for 15 years. We'll have a woods walk shoot for rifle and shotgun or smoothbore also. We'll have tomahawk throws, fire starting, fire making, building contests. We have a Bull of the Woods run. We have a skills course that people will compete in. Come along, enjoy what you see.
My name is Carl King. I am an engineer by education. I am a fabricator by trade. And a few years ago I got into blacksmithing. And one of the good outlets for blacksmithing is the ironwork and iron wires that the people in the living history or reenactment community use in their daily lives here in camp. So I began to go to a few festivals and events and participate. And as I got more acquainted with the individuals and more acquainted with what was going on, I found that I had a deep love for history, Kentucky history in particular, and the way things used to be when we were first coming into this great state. So I began to acquire some clothes, some gun, powder horn, pouch, knife, and clothes that made me fit in with the pioneer community. And it's turned out to be an extremely enjoyable, fun hobby, a great way to meet a lot of interesting people and to learn from each individual what they happen to know about Kentucky history. Everybody reads books, they interpret things in different ways, and we share a lot of point of views around the campfire at night and discussions about how this great state was settled and the people that came through here. And that's how I got into it, and that's what I enjoy.
My name's Donovan Howard from Rockcastle. Most folks call me Big D. My persona is a 1770 to 1790 Eastern Woodland Indian, primarily Shawnee, but sometimes other tribes, Cherokee and Onagwa, a few other tribes. Depends on what event we're at. I got into this hobby about 6 years ago. By accident, me and my family stopped at Boonesboro and watched the siege, and I was hooked, hook, line, and sinker without a doubt. So a couple $100 later and plenty of aggravation, we've been doing it ever since.
I'm Jody Howard, and I've been doing this since I was a little girl, and I portray a settlement girl. Just tried to go native, but I don't know how that's going to work out.
Okay, this is a Kentucky pistol style, and it's flintlock, muzzle loaded. Probably about 1760 model. Daniel Boone's my hero, I'll have to admit that now. He's 203 years and 18 days older than I am. We were both born in November.
The longhunter, which if it wasn't for the longhunters, this state wouldn't be open to the West or any other country or states we have, because the longhunter, he set the trails for all the pioneers. And it was interesting, and I think that all of our heritage should never be forgotten.
Well, this is a tomahawk. It was a important piece of equipment. Men like Simon Kenton said if there was only one piece of equipment they could have took with them, would have been a tomahawk. You can skin with it, you can defend yourself with it, you can build your shelter with it. And a lot of the competitions that the long hunters had were shaped around the tools that they used every day. When you was in a camp or in a rendezvous situation, there was a lot of camaraderie and there was a lot of friendly competition. And so we carry that on by having friendly competition, sometimes for money, sometimes for prizes, but mostly just for fun. Basically it.
On the end of it, closed down.
This week on the Reenactors Corner, we take a look at what might have been worn by the 18th century long hunter.
This is a little bit about the long hunter dress. The moccasins, most of them were made from elk or deer skins, whichever they could get a hold of. When the long hunter would wear them, he wore out his city clothes or whatever, then he would go to these, and the leggings are made from deer skins. They come all the way up to the thigh of the leg. They have a thong that ties to the side that holds the legging in place. The leggings were used to keep out the briars and the rough terrain that they had to go through, kept them from getting all cut up and scratched, plus it kept them warm. The leg ties were used for three purposes. Number one was to keep everything tight, keep bugs and ticks and critters from crawling up their pant legs. Plus, the beadwork was done by different tribes of Indians. A lot of each design meant a certain thing. So the long hunter and the trapper learned real quick which signs meant the peace. White was purity, the blue was for peace. And most of the Indians recognized it. So the long hunter would wear stuff that the Indians would recognize and help them go through their country. The shirts were just a long linen shirt. Basically because they were long, it just kept them warmer. And they usually have a neck knife or a short knife, a side knife. The side knife was basically a bigger knife used for cutting up their game, protection. The little knife was used to set around. A lot of times when they eat, they would use a knife, had to have a knife to cut stuff. And protection too. The headdress, which I don't have on, but which it came into effect 2 or 3 different ways. Some of them wore felt hats, some wore skin hats, but most of them just wore whatever they liked. So the long hunter in the sash that going around his waist, he would tuck it up tight, and he would use it for a pocket, because none of these clothes have pockets, and they would tote stuff inside their sash to hold it, different things. They would carry flint, steel, anything they wanted to stick in there. So the long hunter, he was pretty much prepared for everything. He carried a lot of stuff with him.
My name's Kenny Baldwin. I've been doing it probably 15 years now. I'm an eastern long hunter, and the main reason I got into it, I always liked the outdoors, just being out and being part of nature, and this gave me a better chance to really do it, without the modern inconveniences that most people take into the woods. I mean, you can do pretty much what you want to out here, and not damage anything and still have a good time. But that's basically why I got into it.